Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I've got a pretty interesting video for you all today, and it centers around the new Harry Potter TV show that is in production. Now, it's pretty obvious that the main selling point of this new TV show is the fact that we are going to see more of a book-accurate portrayal of what we didn't actually see in the movies. Extra scenes, extra detail, extra material, and of course, extra characters that didn't make it to the movies. Characters that were rejected and left on the cutting room floor, and even some who didn't make it that far. For today's video, I'm going to choose 10 characters that had notable roles in the books, even mainstay characters that featured in the books, that we should very well see in the TV show if it is going to be as loyal to the books as we have been led to believe. So let's not wait any longer and kick things off with number 10, the Gaunt Family. In the books, the Gaunt family have quite a big role to play, especially as it links so closely with Voldemort's backstory. I mean, this basically highlights a huge turning point in Tom Riddle's life as he finally confronts his biological uncle and discovers the truth about his mother and father, and basically everything about his own past. He finds out what his mother was really like and just how much the Gaunt name has tarnished in comparison to what it once used to be. This also leads Tom to confronting his father and grandparents for abandoning him despite knowing about his existence all this time, which ultimately leads to their murders at the young boy's hands. He also frames his uncle too, and finally takes revenge for the wrongdoing that he endured. This was not shown in the movies. No flashback, nothing, but it is crucial to understanding the root of the Dark Lord's evil, the root of his additional motivation to become the most powerful wizard to ever walk the face of the earth. Given the premise of the show, I think this is something we'll definitely see. Number 9. Marietta Edgecombe, the real traitor. Something that really bothers me in the Order of the Phoenix is the misuse of Cho Chang's character. Now, there are arguments that the change I'm going to talk about actually makes the movie flow a little bit better, but my argument is that it's not what happens in the books, and if that's the case, then why not make hundreds of changes to make the story flow better? Anyway, in the Order of the Phoenix movie, it's made out that Cho Chang was the one who gave up Dumbledore's army to Dolores Umbridge. That she was the one who exposed them all due to the threats against her mother, who worked in the Ministry of Magic. Everyone hates Cho, including Harry, and it's a clean cut in terms of a reason to sever their relationship. However, in the books, Cho never did anything wrong. She did no such thing. It's another Ravenclaw, who went by the name of Marietta Edgecombe, who actually gave the DA up due to her mother's job being threatened in the Ministry. It was actually Cho's jealousy that caused her and Harry's relationship to deteriorate, not her betrayal of him and the others. Number 8. Peeves the Poltergeist. I'm not gonna lie, I'm not the greatest fan of good old Peeves. He was annoying and seemed like he was only created to add obstacles, distractions, and mini subplots to the otherwise stable tasks placed before Harry and his friends. He seemed to be untouchable in terms of receiving any retribution, and even struck a deal to behave himself for a certain period of time. He did appear in the first film adaptation of The Philosopher's Stone. The scenes were shot, but he didn't make it off the cutting room floor. Even for the extended version, the scene was not added in, so to this day, nobody has ever seen the actual footage. There's one or two still frame photos of Peeves, but that's about it. As he does feature quite often in The Philosopher's Stone at least, I'm pretty certain we'll see the Poltergeist. I think he'll be a CGI creation too, if I'm honest, and voiced by maybe a reputable voice actor for the role. Number 7. Rodolphus Lestrange. For those of you who have never read the books, believe it or not, there are some, and that is okay. Bellatrix Lestrange was actually married for the best part of 15 years to her husband Rodolphus. It was more of a face marriage, meaning it was just for show, just to appeal to the pureblood elitists that ruled the small circle of families that still upheld the old ways. Bellatrix had no love for Rodolphus, and I think it was the same on his part. She had a deep, obsessive love for Lord Voldemort, someone that Rodolphus could never live up to. He escaped Azkaban alongside her, and they both returned to Voldemort's service. It would be extremely interesting to see some sort of a backstory between the two, so we can understand their relationship a little better, and whether or not Rodolphus had any sort of jealousy due to his wife's fixation on another man. Number 6. Winky the House Elf. Poor old Winky the House Elf, she has had a rather miserable story, and it is something I don't think was missed from the movies, if I'm honest, as it's a rather sad and depressing one. Winky was devastated when she was thrown out of the Crouch household, as she held so much pride for the work she did for the Crouch family. She actually turned to alcohol to cope with her depression at no longer having a purpose. Dobby did his best to help her overcome her addiction, and her situation actually inspired Hermione to found Spew, as she had already voiced her distaste at the treatment of house elves for quite some time. Personally, I think Spew was a massively distracting subplot, but it's very likely that the whole plot will feature in the TV show, as the series is set on being super loyal to the books. Number 5. Professor Binns. Professor Cuthbert Binns is a rather interesting character, as he has what I'd call a permanent teaching residency at Hogwarts, and that's down to the fact that he's a ghost. He is described as being incredibly boring and one of the least popular teachers at the school only because of due to that reason, that he's an old bore. He's considered a nice man and he has some humorous moments, and it was actually Professor Binns that informs the students about the Chamber of Secrets in the books, and not actually Professor McGonagall, who, as you may be aware, shared the story in the Chamber of Secrets movie. I think it's going to be really interesting to see the TV show's take on the Professor. I can't see why they would exclude the ghostly Professor from the TV show this time round, and I think he will be a CGI creation. Number 4. Andromeda and Ted Tonks. We never got to see either of these two characters in the movies, unfortunately, as they do have quite an interesting story. Ted Tonks had quite a heartbreaking death in the books, simply being in the wrong place at the wrong time, and his wife Andromeda, sister of Bellatrix and Narcissa, was disowned and cast out by her family for choosing to marry a Muggle-born wizard. What is so important about Andromeda's role is that she plays a part to the closing circle, being left to take care of her grandson Teddy after the murder of her daughter Nymphadora and her son-in-law Remus, which means the young baby Teddy was left without his parents as the story ends, just as Harry was left without his parents when the story began. Number 3. The Longbottoms. Neville Longbottom's situation isn't too far away from Harry's, as his parents succumbed to a horrific fate that some say is actually worse than death. Tortured to the point of insanity by means of the Cruciatus Curse at the hands of Bellatrix Lestrange, her husband Rodolphus, her brother-in-law Sebastian, and Barty Crouch Jr., Alice and Frank Longbottom were left in a permanent state of a mental breakdown, something that still haunts Neville and also spurs him on to make them proud by avenging them one day. Neville visits them in St. Mungo's Hospital, where they reside permanently, and it's quite a heartbreaking moment for the boy, especially as they were such renowned Aurors. I think this will be one of the first scenes they decide to add to the show, along with an appearance by Neville's grandmother, Augusta. Number 2. Bane the Centaur. The Harry Potter movies cut out many scenes with centaurs from the books, which was a real shame. Many of the centaurs living in the Forbidden Forest dislike humans and believe helping them goes against what they've seen in the stars. One such centaur is Bane, a centaur who looks down on Firenze, another centaur, for being friendly with the Hogwarts students. In the books, Firenze replaces Professor Trelawney as the school's divination teacher, and the other centaurs almost kill him for the same, as they saw it as a betrayal. The anti-human sentiment sets the scene for when Bane and the other centaurs drag Umbridge into the forest after the events of Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix. It would have been a nice moment for book readers to see Bane and the other centaurs eventually defend the humans they once hated during the Battle of Hogwarts. We just may see Bane in the first season of the TV adaptation. Number 1. Charlie Weasley. Surprisingly, Charlie was essentially written out of the movies, as his only appearance is in a photograph of the family on vacation. In the books, the second oldest Weasley sibling is described as an excellent Quidditch player with a knack for taking care of magical creatures. After graduating from Hogwarts, Charlie heads to Romania, where he studies dragons. Charlie helps out with the first task of the Triwizard Tournament in the Goblet of Fire and is Bill's best man at his wedding. Charlie may not have had as much to do in the books as his other siblings, but his presence was still missed in the films. And with that being said, guys, there are 10 characters that just may appear in the new TV adaptation of Harry Potter. Make sure to look out for my next video, as it just might be a little bit better than this one.